building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Well, hello and good morning. Welcome to another hour of the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. I am Dr. Judy, your radio host. I want to thank you so very much for tuning in. And while I have you here, would you please do me a favor? Go ahead and share, get everybody on. Today is going to be absolutely fantastic. I have an absolutely great guest, and you're going to want to hear him. You can put questions in the chat, and just let's get ready for it so we can hear him, hear ye him. So you can hear what he has to say. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Seems like I haven't been here in a while. I know I have, but it seems like I haven't. Last week I was in Baltimore, so I guess that made me feel like I've been gone a long time, I guess. But I want to thank you all so very much. But please do me a favor, go ahead and get people on here. It's going to be an absolutely great show with Dr. Marcus. Y'all know him because he's everywhere, but we're going to talk about it today. He is running for the Leon County District 5, and we're going to talk about that. But before I do, I must say again, thank you all so very much for tuning in. Go ahead and get everybody on, because we really do want to hear what Dr. Marcus has to say. We're going to ask him some questions. We're going to get into why he's running and just a lot of things, even some things he's already done with the school board. We're going to get into all of that. We just have some questions, and I know that you all may have questions, and it's good to know your candidate. So this is what I'm doing. I have openly invited people on Facebook, the candidates on Facebook, because they're all on my page, and I have invited them to be a guest. And as you know, I can't endorse everybody, but I want to give everybody an equal opportunity to come on the Real Talk with Judy show, speak to the audience that I have, and so you all can hear. I think because we really want you to vote. We really want you to go out. You must vote this term, okay? It is important that you go out and vote. So while I'm going to say a couple of hellos, I want you to invite people on here, invite people to the show, share this page, do all of those things, because we want to get them on here, okay? So I really want to thank God for, y'all already know, my husband and all. I thank God for him, my mom, my dad, even though they're passed, I thank God for them. They are the reason why I do what I do, and why I do it with boldness, and how they have trained me to be. So I want to just thank God for them. Also, my husband, I said that. Thank God for him, to Priscilla, the marketing director, to all of you, and to the audience who comes back every Tuesday. I met some people. I met 10 people. I think it was 10 people in Baltimore. Could have been just a few more, but 10 people in Baltimore who listened to my radio broadcast. But one was from Rhode Island. 2 was from New York, and they're just all over. And I give God praise that people are listening. So I want to say hello to all of you all who tuned in from wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. I do a lot of empowerment, leadership, building you up like that. And then now when we have voting, I want you to hear the candidates, because I really want you to vote. So today on the show, I have Dr. Marcus Nicolas, and he is currently serving on the school board for District 5, and he has served he has been the board chair. Previously, he was the vice chair. He has a doctorate in education. And I'm gonna go ahead and share this with y'all. I lost my notes. All right, I had all my notes ready and I lost them. Okay, so somebody may say, my sister Cindy is on here. She's gonna say, no kidding. So, but I did. Okay. And if they pop up, so they pop up. But right now, I don't have them, and it's okay. But he received his doctorate of education, leadership education from Florida State University.
Yes, ma'am.
He was the principal for 5 years at Gabi.
Well, I was a teacher.
I'm teacher.
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
right. That's right. That's
teacher.
Right. Teacher.
At Gabi
for 5 years. At Gabi.
Yeah, that's why I got my stripes.
I know you did.
I earned my stripes.
7 years he taught at TCC,
That's
now
correct.
now TSC.
That's correct.
He worked in the community. He establishes. One of the things that I saw, Dr. Marcus, was that you really was for teachers getting the fair pay raises or something like that, and you really put forth the effort for the teachers and the students, and you believe in transparency.
Oh, absolutely.
And all of that. I was reading all of the things that you did not from the top up, but you went to the ground.
From the bottom up.
From the bottom
From the
up.
bottom up.
And I saw that. I'm like, wow. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, and he's married. He has wives and children. I think his wife is an educator. His children.
Assistant principal at Raw Middle School.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now she served with me on Commission on the Status of Women and Girls. Very intelligent young lady. Very fine children. He's a family man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a family man. And you all, I was partnered with Riley Elementary School, and know who I saw there often? Dr. Marcus.
Yeah. But I saw you. That to me is more impressive. I saw you there, and I didn't see you didn't come empty-handed. You came with love and victuals, groceries, love and groceries.
And so I mentioned that, Dr. Marcus, because you don't just stay in the administrative offices. You're on the ground. You can see you at all these schools. You can see you at different activities. You can see you on the weekends.
Yeah.
You and your families.
Mm-hmm.
Your family participating.
And food giveaways, food drives.
Yeah, and to me, that's important. For me. So as I'm voting for candidates, as I'm looking, I watch Dr. Marcus. I remember when he first ran against Ms. Bowen. He lost
Yes, ma'am.
by 46 point. He had 46.8%.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good.
I gotta get more.
Oh, that number will never leave.
But you know what? This is what I love about Dr. Marcus. You still saw him working. Some people, when they don't win, they stop.
They disappear.
You don't see them again.
Yeah.
But we kept seeing you. The same thing that you promised, you was working hard. You continued to work with Ms. Joy. You continued to work.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that was impressive.
Yes, ma'am.
So anything else you want to say before we get into, tell us anything else about you?
I think you said it all brilliantly, but you are absolutely right. We never stop working because we're committed to the work, right? And I got to see it from the ground up. I got to see what the need looks like. But I know we're going to get into it with the questions that you have. So let's jump right into it.
All right. Well, we're going to get started, you all, because I want y'all to hear the questions. I want y'all to hear his answer more than the question. I want you to hear his answers, because I want you to know he's one that I want to stay on the school board. Let's say that. I think I'm at liberty to say that. He's one that I would like to see remain on the school board because he's done an amazing job, and he still has more work to do. So we're going to get into the questions. Dr. Marcus, I do have a question. Okay, so this is the first question to you. And I hope I can read it correctly, you all, so you all can understand I want you all to understand the question, okay? So as you seek a renewal of your term on the board, why have you chosen to stay on the battlefield? And I do call it a battlefield. I really do. Those of you who work in the school system, Dr. Marcus, I really consider it a battlefield. I really do. And so, and what is the primary compromise milestone you plan to complete over the next 4 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the first thing that stuck out to me was battlefield. You are 100% right that it's a battlefield. What the state of Florida tells us, by the time, if I were renewed by the end of my second term, in order for one of our children to earn gainful employment, that means employment that will take care of their family, they are going to need a post-secondary credential. That doesn't mean a college education. 72% of the jobs in Florida will need a post-secondary credential. So people ask me, why am I so stuck on ensuring that we have appropriate CTE classes or programs in our schools? Why all students should at least participate in a CTE class or a dual enrollment class or an AP class? Well, it's because the statistics tell us that they're not going to be able to feed their family if they just graduate with a high school diploma and nothing else. So as a part of my plan and what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to put college and career centers at every single high school, just like I did at Leon High School. I want to put them in all high schools, because in those college and career centers, we can now put Career Source Capital Region in our high schools so that students can be paired with jobs and careers, so that we can have SAT prep, ACT prep, all of those things that most students in more affluential schools, where they could pay for tutoring services, where they could pay for all of these people to come in. I want it to be free for our students. So one of the things that I want to do is make sure that a college and career center is at all of our schools. We've laid the groundwork. I want to complete that. There's another thing that I'm really, really interested in. So there's been a lot of conversation about pay and pay structure and pay type and who's getting paid. What I was most concerned with is who wasn't getting paid.
Okay.
And what I saw was some of our working class people not getting paid. What I asked for was a compensation and classification study, which looks at our market, like what do you need? What's the going rate against what we were paying them? These some of our bus drivers, our cafeteria workers, our school accountants, like some of those folks, our bookkeepers. And what we found was that many of our employees were underpaid. So now in this second term, I've already worked with the school district to set up a plan. I want to make sure that that plan happens and that our working class employees are paid against the market. And so those are two huge priorities, two huge lifts that I have in front of me that's going to take a while, and expertise and experience and the vision to ensure that that is executed. So,
wow, that is awesome, because they work hard.
They work hard.
They're
the
hard.
Some of them they're the backbone. Kids can't come to school without the bus drivers driving.
Exactly. And some of them wouldn't eat.
Right.
It wouldn't be for our cafeteria.
Right. They don't
workers
eat without the cafeteria workers.
And keeping the school clean.
Right.
Very important. I don't know what you call custodians or
custodial workers.
Custodian workers. And for you to have a concern for them, that is important, because so many times you have people who get in position, Dr. Marcus, I'm sure you can attest to this, that they really don't think about the spoke of the wheels.
Come on.
That's what I would call them. The spoke of, they make everything happen.
Right.
They make the what some would consider the small things happen.
Right.
But it is important.
Right.
That they get paid at least a minimum,
right.
a little higher. If there's any way possible,
right.
They need to get an increase. If there's any way possible.
And and I would like to think, and my colleagues would probably agree with you because they call me Dr. Data. We make data informed decisions now. That wasn't a practice. So it was imperative for me to come in and say, what does the data tell us? Instead of just throwing spaghetti at a wall, what does the data tell us about what we should be doing, what direction we should be going, right? And that was one of the things the data told us, that some of the backbone, some of the pillars of our workforce were not being paid appropriately. And so that's what I'm going to be working to fix.
And that's one that would be one good reason to keep you on there, so we can. Life is hard,
Right.
I mean, it's just hard.
Right.
Finances are hard.
Right.
Things are just happening that's been crazy. But we believe in a God that can help give people wisdom to turn things around, because he used people.
Come on.
And so he'll put the wisdom in a person like Dr. Marcus Nicolas, who
Come
can
on.
go and get the data.
All glory.
And you all go ahead and make this thing happen for the school.
Yeah.
Number two, many families in our community are currently operating with a high level of distrust toward the school district decision making. As a returning leader, what concrete everyday steps will you take to repair that broken relationship and earn back the public trust confidence?
Yeah, it's really one conversation at a time. So when you look at distrust is bred in a lack of communication. That's the breeding ground for distrust. It's just a lack of communication, right? Either one party is not communicating, or one party is not communicating with the other party, or it's because that maybe there's communication, but it's broken communication, or it's partial communication. Last night, so when we talk about concrete steps, the first steps is improve the communication. Last night, I made the first step towards that, where I asked our director of communications, Chris Petley, to start making monthly reports to us, so that we have the information that they have at the school district, because the five of us, the school board members, we are the ombudsman. We are the mouthpiece. We are the bridge between the school district and the community.
Correct.
So if we don't have the information, then chances are they don't have the information, because these parents are going to work and they're coming home and they see us out at the neighborhood association meetings. They see us out at the games. And we have to be able to answer the questions that they have. And so the first thing is to bridge that gap between what the school district is doing and the parents who need to hear this information. So we will now have monthly reports on what's actually happening in our schools, so that we know, so that when they call us, we can communicate that information. So that's one thing that we've never done that we're implementing.
Wow, I like that. And to be able to break it down so they can understand it. I remember when I was at Rowland and Dr. Stokes did an excellent job. He and his staff, that team over there is awesome. And I know he's moved on to Ricker. I got to really get with the new ones, but that team was wonderful. And to take time with those parents, and I had the opportunity to talk, but you have to talk so they can understand. And I think that's what makes them so angry, because, or even though they don't think anybody responded. Ain't nobody responded back to me. I done sent 20 messages. Ain't nobody doing this. And I think that's one of the things that's bad with communication. Number one, being unresponsive, and then not being able to talk the language.
You just hit it. You hit the nail on the head with that one. It's really, we speak in education language. The average person is not trained to understand what IEP stands for.
Exactly.
Or the difference between an IEP or a 504, right? Now, this is a gospel station, but I'm going to hit you with this.
No, go ahead. Just don't be cussing.
No, I ain't cussing. I ain't going to cuss. So I remember that when I was a young man coming up, there was an album that I absolutely loved. It was by a group called Outkast. And the album was Aquemini. And in the front of the CD jacket was a guide. And there were words and there were definitions, so that as I listened to the music, I actually understood, because they were using Southern slang vernacular that nobody knew unless you were a part of that space, that ecosystem. We need one of those guides. And I've been talking about this forever. And actually, if you go back through school board meetings, you will find me actually using this exact same analogy, where we need something that acts as a guide, where if a parent is in a 504 meeting or an IEP meeting, that as the school district are using terminology that they may not be familiar with, they can just look at this little handy guide. Right. And not every word, but commonly used words or frequently asked questions that they can just go here and say, oh, this is what they're talking about, right? Because if I get stopped by anything, I get stopped by more parents who have ESC students in our system. And my son also is ESC. So I understand the challenges with understanding the vernacular, understanding the language. And to your point in this brilliantly articulated question, that's where distrust starts.
Yes.
Because they just don't understand what we're talking about.
Exactly. And I like to say sometimes when I'm talking, I said, well, just break it down to me like I'm a 2-year-old.
Right.
Wherever I heard that from,
Right.
I'm like, break it down to, well, you're not a 2-year-old, but break it down to me like I am.
Exactly.
Then I can understand it better.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what I tell you. You don't understand what I'm asking or what I'm saying, say so.
Right.
It don't make you look bad. You know, I need to know, talk to me.
Right.
You know, because it's very important.
Well, and it reinforces we're all lifelong learners, right?
Yes.
Everybody doesn't know everything, and we're not expected to know everything. I don't know every single thing about the Bible. That's why I go to church, right? I read it a lot, but sometimes my pastor just got to break it down to me a little, just a little. And I think I'm a pretty educated man, and I still don't understand some of the context that's within Scripture. So because we're all lifelong learners, everyone has to treat everyone like they're learning the process for the first time, without shame, without ridicule.
Yes.
Just do it.
And Dr. Marcus, as you're talking, I think we could get that really going. I believe that will be a first step in building back confidence, of building the trust, because it's important.
Right.
But everyone has to feel that they're important.
Right.
Now, it don't matter. No, it matters.
Right. And I like the order you just put it in. Building the confidence first, the confidence in me talking to you, you receiving it, you talking to me, so a dialogue, and then the trust comes.
Then the trust.
Yeah.
And then I spent so much time at Joe Louis and Holston Street, Joe Louis and Basin Street, and just sitting down there talking. I'm like, well, what that mean? What that mean?
Come on.
And I had one parent tell me, oh, you ain't as smart as I thought you was. I said, I'm not.
Right.
I'm not.
We're all learners.
I say, so teach me.
Right.
How they teach me.
Right.
And they said, oh, you got to learn how to come out here. Teach me how to come.
Right.
Teach me.
Right.
I said, that's what I'm here for.
Come on.
I'm here to learn. I said, there's many smart people out here.
Come on.
I said, so teach me.
Come on.
When I would drive up, they said, you coming for a lesson? Or what you coming for?
I love that.
And I'm coming for a lesson.
Yeah.
And how long you got today? 30 minutes. Give me a 30-minute lesson.
That's great.
And they would talk the language and tell me, okay, now when you talk, this is what you have to say. You know, this and that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
But I think that it's important. And it's going to take time, but it's important.
It's important.
And the school board members, I respect you all. I think we have a great school board.
Thank you.
I believe that you all care. You all have shown. You may not agree with everything, but that's good.
Yeah.
You know, that's good. I tell people, my husband and I have been married almost 45 years. And in 45 years, you're not going to agree with everything.
Right.
But when you can trust it, like somebody told me my husband can kill me by telling me to take anything. He's a pharmacist. I trust him.
Right.
We've been married 45 years.
Right.
And if he tell me to take something, I'm going to take it.
Right.
I do. I
Right.
don't ask him. I just take it.
Right.
Only thing I'm going to ask is, they ain't going to put me to sleep forever. He said, no.
Yeah.
And I take it. But we don't agree with everything, but we talk about everything.
Right.
And Dr. Marcus, when we first got married, my husband wasn't a communicator. because his family didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his dad was a great man, but you didn't ask his dad any questions.
Yeah. Similar story. My dad is from Haiti. So I gotta hate them old Haitians, right?
Oh yeah.
We don't talk about our feelings.
Oh no. You didn't ask his dad anything. His mom didn't even ask his dad anything, but I did. And
right.
They would sit there and look. I said, well, in my family, we ask questions.
Come on.
And we talk and we get to the bottom of it. You know, we may fall out, but hey, we come back and ain't nothing major. But so that's gonna be good. The next question I want to ask is there's a growing demand from taxpayers to pull back the curtain on our budget and expenditures to find ways to reduce wasteful spending. Do you support creating a citizen-led review pathway for our budget? Why or why not?
So I'm gonna answer this in two parts. First, that is actually in the proposal. This citizens-led review pathway is actually in the referendum that's going to come before the taxpayers in November with the half-penny renewal as well as the millage. So do I support it? Yes, because I voted on it, right? So absolutely. But I wanna answer this first part and pulling back the curtain because I'm really proud of this work that I've done.
Okay.
So before I got elected, this question I think is absolutely plausible. Yes, there was the first time we learned about the budget was when we were getting ready to approve the budget.
Okay.
that is not a lie. That is truthful, right? So what I was able to do was, and this goes back to my background when I was the executive director of operations at Florida State University. I too had to report to a board, right? So this is where that training comes from. So my board required me to do what's called a variance report. And a variance report is a quarterly report that looks at what is actually budgeted versus what we've actually spent.
Okay.
And the variance is the difference, whether it's a plus or a minus, whether it's a surplus or a deficit, right? And so what I've done is I've done that exact same, or I recommended that exact same thing, and we now do that on the school board. So quarterly, we have what's called a variance report, and it's available to the public.
Okay.
And it shows us all of our expenditures that are outside of what we've actually budgeted. Right? So if let's say we said that we're going to allocate $2 million to textbooks, if we are within a certain threshold of that $2 million, meaning we haven't spent it or we've gone over the $2 million, it's going to show up on the variance report. And then we start to ask questions. What about this line item here? And it's line item.
Okay.
And it's very clear and it's very plain. What you'll also see on that variance report are the expenditures or the expenses that are assigned as well as committed and that are restricted. Those things are three very, very important things because people think that we have a $646 million budget. So we have all of this money to do all of these things. Well, when you look at the variance report, what I've asked them to do is label each one of those line items as either restricted, assigned.
Let's go right there.
Yes, restricted. So restricted. What that means is that the state requires us to spend this amount of money in this way. We cannot vary from the way the state has asked us to spend that money. That's the word restricted.
Good.
So the word assigned means that the school board has appropriated this amount of money for this expenditure. Now, the assigned one means that we can go back and say, let's not spend it here.
Okay.
Let's move this money or let's spend some of this money in other areas. So that's where the public needs to say, well, this is now assigned. So can we prioritize? So that's how when we're talking about strategies and prioritizing, that's the line item that you look at. And then committed means that this expense, we roll over year because in 5 years, there's going to be a big expense. So think about saving up for a car, right?
Okay.
So each month, so you're putting away $100 or $1,000 every single month because you know at the end of 8 months you need $8,000 to pay for this car. So we're putting money away. So you'll actually the textbook example is a good example of that. So every year we put away, a couple $1 million because we know that in the 3rd grade they're going to need the new textbooks that's going to come in 5 years. So instead of allocating $10 million on that 5th year, we save up a little bit. That's the committed line. So as they're looking at this variance report, and if it says nothing, if you don't see assigned, committed, or restricted, that means the school board can do whatever we want to do with that amount of money. And that's how you read the budget. But those are the kinds of so the growing demand and how do we pull back the curtain? Well, maybe I just do some town halls and we talk about this because we talk about it at the school board meeting. And to be quite honest, not many people watch them. Right. So they just don't know. Right. But we now have this very public and available report that they can just look at. But to your earlier point, we now need like a glossary of terms so that they know what restricted, assigned, and committed means.
Because I think that's very important because as to your point, what you said earlier, they see the $600 million budget that you all have. And so they think they can just take, and you've heard it, they've said it on the news, they've said it on Facebook, right? They said it everywhere. They got money, they can take this money and do it here. But the Bible says my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Come on.
So because we don't know, then we're like, quote, destroyed, and we get angry, we get upset, and then we say they don't know what they're doing because we don't understand. Right. But to take time, and that's why I wanted with you, the candidate to come on, but you especially with the school board, because this is going to be a hard year.
When you look at the end of last year, I don't know where we are this year, but at the end of last year, when you look at our discretionary budget, and then we actually get the new discretionary budget next week, so I'll know. But at the end of last year, out of the $646 million, actually 3.6% of that was actually really discretionary. And 3% of the 3.6 was in our emergency fund. So it was really 0.6% that we actually have. Everything else is either assigned by or either restricted by the state, assigned by a school board member, which we do have some flexibility there. So I don't want to be misleading. Or committed, meaning we got a big bill that's due and we got to save up for it, or we're going to be in real trouble in a couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that was worth this whole show.
There you go.
There you go. People want to know about the money, and then some of us don't really know what budget means. And so to get to understand, and I think, so we got to keep it 4 more years because you're going to help people understand the budget.
I'm going to keep on this tour.
Yeah, you got to keep going, man. We can't stop there.
Right.
We can't bring anybody new now.
Right.
It ain't broken. So let's keep it going.
We just got to be, to your earlier question, we just got to have more concrete ways in which we communicate.
Exactly.
That's what the issue is communicating this information.
And then the parents got to understand, and the community have to understand how important it is to have these conversations. And sometimes the smaller the group, it worked best instead of the large group. Right. But it got to be an understanding. It has to be communication.
Right.
And some people don't like to communicate because they don't want people to think they're dumb and all of this, but they're and it's up to us, Dr. Marcus. It's up to you. It's up to me. These leaders to have people to feel comfortable and valuable when they talk and they don't know the words. Right. So we have to be careful of the terminology we use. I read that Jesus taught in an eighth grade level.
Come on.
And so I prayed and asked the Lord to help me keep things simple.
Yeah.
I want everybody to be able to understand.
And you know what's really important, us as elected officials, and I'm not chastising all elected officials, because I do this too sometimes. I get in my feelings. We can't be defensive when people ask us questions. We just can't be defensive. And it's easy for me to say on this radio show, right? Because I'm looking at Facebook and they drag and school. But that is we can't be defensive. The only thing we can continue to do is continue to communicate.
Yes.
I just wrote a piece that was sent out to the school district, that was sent out by the school district, that it really just offers more context. And that's all I can do is just offer more context and not be defensive and answer people's question, even if I have to answer it 4 and 5 and 7 times.
Exactly.
It goes back to my teaching roots. The students would ask me the same question 50 times, and I'm going to answer it all 50 times.
All 50 times.
Because that's what they need.
Yeah. And we have to do that. And I'm glad you brought that up, because we can't be defensive.
Right.
We can't. And another thing I really admire about you, that your personality and it's always even. You know, you're respectful. I see you. I get to talk about you.
Yeah.
I see you, but you're always polite. And I know sometimes you probably get frustrated. I know you do, because you're human.
Yeah.
But you keep it under control, and that's very important. So I hope the other elected officials and people, period, especially those in leadership, you can't become defensive when people have questions.
Right.
You have a question. I had a little girl. She said, "Pastor Judy, I asked you last month. I told you last month to tell Pastor I want to be baptized." She said, "I want to be baptized before school starts." She said, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" She's a young girl.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say, you don't talk to me like that.
Right.
Because she has.
Yeah.
And I told her, you know what, sweetheart, I am so sorry. I'm having that conversation with Pastor, and I will let you know. She said, by Sunday. I say, by Sunday, I will give you an answer. And what is she going to do Sunday? She's going to come to me and ask me when she's getting baptized.
But you know what that also does is she's going to now feel comfortable coming back to you saying other things and telling you other things, right?
Yes.
What humility exemplified from the older generation to the younger generation, right? And that's another thing that we just need more of, right? I was talking to my cousin about this the other day. Our great grandparents, they would host family reunions, and we would get to engage and interact and see the older generation, right? And then it seemed to have skipped a generation with my mom. I love my mom. And her mom, right? So it skipped that generation, and now it's on us, but we didn't have direct access to, hosting these family. So I liken that, or I'll use that analogy to come back to the school district and the community, right? Like sometimes that, young people just need to see people like what you did. You didn't get defensive. You didn't get upset, even though she might have rolled her head, rolled her eyes. I don't know what she did, right? But the humility in you, which is a fruit of the Spirit, right? So the humility of you maintains your even-keeled nature, and you responded in a way where she's now going to come back, right? And that's what we need. We just need we need the next generation up to train us, right? People in my gym, so that we can take over the mantle, and then we can demonstrate the same things that we've been shown.
Yeah, that's cool. How will you ensure? I went to question number 5.
Okay.
How would you ensure you? And I want to let the audience know, I didn't give any of these questions to Dr. Marcus in advance. Matter of fact, when I came in and I sat down and I said, I am so sorry I didn't give you any of these questions in advance, because I wanted you all, because if he's going to run, he got to know in his heart what he's running for without being scripted. And that's just me. That's just me. You have to know in your heart what you provide and why you want to stay. And if you have done some work, and if you have ever ran before and didn't win, you should still been doing work.
Right.
And so for those of you who have contacted me and want to be on, that's how I do it.
Come on.
I just want you to know that. Y'all see, Dr. Marcus knows his stuff. It's in his heart. So how would you ensure you are actively hearing from parents, teachers? We kind of talked about the same thing. So I'm going to skip that.
Okay.
I'm going to skip that. So when we look at a student achievement, what specific measurable academic benchmark must the superintendent be held strictly accountable for raising over the next 4 years? Yeah,
so this is a really good question. A lot of people look at comprehension. So there are a couple different metrics that the state measures to discern whether students actually know what they're supposed to know. Right. So one is comprehension, right? And so you have math comprehension, reading comprehension, science comprehension, civics comprehension, and then history comprehension, right? And so that means that they've scored at a level 3 out of 5 or above, right? And so many of our babies, especially in the elementary school level, some of them in our Title I schools come in at 7 years old, not knowing their name, not knowing how to spell their name. So what does that mean? That means they're already behind the 8 ball, right? Like they're already, you know, if this is pole position, they are 2 lanes back from pole position, right? So one of the metrics is comprehension, but here's what I think really measures what our teachers are actually doing in the classroom. That is called learning gains. So learning gains measures where did you start to where did you go, not whether you've met kind of this universal metric that everybody in the state of Florida has to meet, right? Because we know all conditions are not the same condition, specifically in our Title I schools. So learning gains to me are way more important to determine what our students are actually doing from the time they step into the classroom to the time that they're tested. When you look at our learning gains across Leon County schools, this is where I start smiling.
I
Come on.
That.
So we have of 50% increases and 60% and 70 and even 90%, 92% at Bond Middle School, where Delshana once was, right?
Yeah.
She saw a 92% of those students who were tested. Now, these are the students that are at what they call the lowest 25%, right? They're the lowest. And so 92% actually made a gain in math at Bond Middle School. That's a story that needs to be told all the way through every outlet, right? Because that truly is incredible. But Bond is not the only story. Again, 70s, 80s, 90s, you got Sealy doing it. Like you have all of these schools that are making these kinds of gains. That's what we need to be holding the superintendent accountable for. Now, comprehension is important, right? Yes, I want them to get 5s, and I want them to get 4s, and I want them to do all the great things. But I really want to see what we can control, because this is the part that we can actually control. Some of the other things we can't control. So that's one thing. The next thing that I really want to make sure that we continue to increase are our certifications and our graduation rates, right? Obviously, we want students to graduate, but I want them to graduate with something in their hand outside of their high school diploma, if at all possible, right? So whether that's AP scores, whether that's dual enrollment, whether that's career and technical education, whatever it is, I want them to graduate a high school diploma in one hand and a CTE certificate in the other hand, because that to me betters their probability of earning employment that can sustain a living wage for them and their families.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. I think Dr. Stoke had talked to me about the game. So just wanted to see how they came in.
Right.
So if they was on a 1 and they improved to a 5, that was great.
Right.
You know, and how does that? Let me see. How do I ask that question? I know that there's a standard by the state. But is the school rated on that?
Yes, that is one of the metrics that a school is evaluated on, is the learning gains. So there's so depending on what level, whether it's elementary, middle, or high school, there are multiple metrics. High school obviously having the most metrics because there are opportunities for them to do all kinds of things that they can get. But elementary school, they're evaluated on these gains and these comprehension scores. So I'm not saying one is more difficult than the other. They're just different. And elementary school has far fewer metrics so when you see A's at some of these elementary schools, specifically in Title I schools, it truly is a blessing. And you can tell that entire team worked their butts off in order to make these kinds of gains. But nothing against middle and high school, because I love them. These are my people. Love everybody. I just admire them. And I've never been an elementary school teacher. Never wanted to. It's just I always say it's a special kind of person to teach elementary and middle school.
You're right.
Oh,
you're right. Elementary and try to daycare.
And daycare.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that's just so.
That's why I had no
God's
intention
work,
of ever
man.
being there. But,
yeah, daycares, elementary. Oh,
all of those. But you have to love them. You do. But you know what, Dr. Marcus, too? If we can get them in those ages, I think the age now 0 to 7, the most formative years.
Yes.
So we can get them there.
Yep.
By the time they get on up, we have a chance of them becoming our next school board people. And
you lay the foundation.
Yeah. So if we can get that in elementary, in the daycare.
Yes.
I know my parents get upset because I demand them to bring them children to school.
Come on.
They didn't want to come. They 3.
Come on. They don't get a choice.
What do you mean they didn't want to
come?
Well, they said.
They said.
No, that's not, And I had one parent to take them out. I'm like, you're going to regret that because they need to be in school. So when they go, one of the boys told me, I said, what's your name? B? Your name is not B. There's no B in your name.
Right.
I said, Mom, why you call him B? But okay, we're gonna be through here. Let me get down. Okay, so one of the questions I wanted to ask you about, Priscilla, this is
11.
number 7. I'm gonna get, what's number 11?
This is one I hear a lot too.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to that one. Let me ask you number, I want to ask about the teachers. It said, with our ongoing teachers shortages, we are bringing in many new educators who did not graduate from a traditional college of education. How do you plan to structurally support and train these career changer teachers so they don't burn out in their first year?
So it's a great question. I'm going to give you my thoughts, but understand that this is more of an operational question, and the superintendent handles operations, and we handle budget and governance. But I do have thoughts on this because I was actually one of these teachers who did not traditionally graduate from College of Ed in my undergraduate. My undergraduate degree is actually in communications. So I was one of these individuals. So we do have multiple programs that like mentor teacher programs. We do have boot camps that we introduced last year, so that these brand new teachers who've never gone through College of Ed, that they have some idea. But let's just be honest, nothing prepares you for when you are in front of 18, 21, 25, and upwards of 40 students. That door is closed and it's just the two of you. That's a whole different experience. So I am all for as many supports as we can, because I went through that. I had a fantastic mentor teacher, but at the end of the day, when that door closed and it was just me and them, game on.
Totally different.
It's your first year is survival of the fittest. You're just trying to figure out what is happening. You don't start to learn until like year 3 and 4 and 5 of what's going on. But I am for all support. I do think that we need to strengthen our beginning teacher program, 150%. But what beginning teachers need really is real-time help, not a program like an after-school program. Because when they're in the thick of things, that's when the decision-making processes needs to be, or I'm sorry, not the decision-making processes, but that's when the help is needed, right? In real time. And so I don't know how you do that, because most times if there's another teacher in the classroom, then they tend to be on the better behaviors than when it's just them alone with that one teacher that they seem to be torturing. I really don't know how you fix that without like really getting into it and offering more support services for that. I do think we need more educational pathways for those teachers to ensure that they get certified, more opportunities to get certified. I would love for us as the district to partner with TSC, for example, to create an EPI program. That's an Educational Preparation Institute program. Those are throughout the state. We don't have one. I've had early conversations, but again, that's outside of what I'm allowed to do as a school board member. But I would love to see more EPI programs with, for example, TSC.
Okay. Well, we're coming to part. This hour went fast.
Dang, we're an hour?
Almost. So let me ask you question number 11, because this is true.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like city.
Yeah.
So there is a persistent community belief that the school board simply rubber stamps whatever the superintendent wants. Do you agree or disagree with that perspective? Can you share a specific recent district decision where you disagree with the administration and tell us what you would have done differently?
Yeah, actually, there's about 7 examples. if you watch, here's what I want to make sure that the public is aware of. We have school board meetings on Tuesdays, but on Mondays we have agenda review. And so the agenda review is actually when we look at all of the questions and we have all of our disagreements, right? The agenda reviews happen on Mondays from 3 to 5. They're recorded, so you can watch them at home. But that's where you'll really see real conversation and not just passing 5-0. Okay. So examples of when you have seen me actually dissent, because there's been a couple 4-1 votes or 3-2-3 votes where I was on the short end of the stick. And many of them come back to what I talked about earlier, which is the compensation and classification study. So there was some positions that was brought to us as a board that I did simply thought that did not align with the compensation and classification study.
Okay.
Because we hadn't completed the study yet. So my recommendation is that we freeze the position, or we hold the position until we can finish the comp and class study and then align the position with the study, right? So again, using data to make this decision as opposed to just our own thoughts. And I was outvoted, right? That has happened, like I said, 5 or 6 times where I'm there. I'm always the one like, nope, not until we finish this study, or we finish this part of the study to make sure that you can still complete, your job, because I don't want to hold anything up. And I just get outvoted. So that, like I said, that's about 7 times. About 7 times. About 7 times. That's happened. Yeah.
He's still smiling. So
yeah. I mean,
on to the next thing.
Look, man, all you can do is fight the battle. And if you lose, you lose.
And you lose. Hey, that's well, we're just about to wrap up, but I do want you to answer this one. Mm-hmm. What is one deep passion, life experience, and then I'm going to ask you to do a closer.
Okay.
But what is one deep passion, life experience, or defining characteristic about you, about who you are as a human being, that we would never be able to discover through a simple Google search?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that what fuels me is my ability to want to learn and to continue to learn. I took I don't know, you're familiar with Dr. Judy because you went to Leadership Tallahassee, but the Strengths Finders that you take, my number one strength is learner. And so the characteristics of a learner is it's intellectual curiosity. I'm always seeking for alternatives. I'm always seeking to understand other people. This is just what the report says about me. Seeking to understand other people's perspectives and having those perspectives kind of inform decision-making for myself. And that carries, whether it's with me spiritually, me socially, right? Is why you see me talking to so many people. It's because I'm always trying to learn from other people's perspective. And as you said earlier, I'm not going to agree with everybody, right? So just because I ask you Don't mean I agree with you, but I do want to hear that perspective.
Exactly.
And I've had my mind changed about a lot of things because people have informed me and given me context that I did not have. Because what you come with is going to be different from what I come with. And so that you'll never Google that about me, but I am always trying to understand and learn.
Me too. I love learning. I love other perspectives. And my mind too has been changed on some things. I'm like, wow, I didn't see it like that. You know, and I even like to talk to children. I just love learning.
Yeah.
I love learning.
Yeah.
Last question, and we're gonna give it up. So the microphone is yours. No policy, nothing. You have you got 2 minutes to deliver just a final commission, a final message to the people.
Over the last 18 years, I've worked for this community. I've worked for students who look like me. Students, and that's not a black-white thing. That's students who have come up from the gutters. People, you know, those students who have nothing to become, or who want to become something, who to aspire to become something. That's who I've worked for the last 18 years, whether it was teaching them, whether it was building programs for them, whether it's feeding them on Saturdays with our partnership through Second Harvest and All Nations Church and Boys and Girls Club, whatever it may be. I've always provided or sought to provide the resources that they need in order to become successful. And I want 4 more years to continue that work. That work is personal for me. That work is genuine to me. I love the work. It is what fulfills me and it's what I want to continue. And that's why I always say that I'm just committed to the work.
Man, Dr. Marcus Nicolas, I absolutely admire you. I admire your work. All 18 years. I don't know if I've known you all 18 years, but however long of that 18 years, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I greatly admire you. Admire your stance, and I like the fact that you're not afraid to believe in what you believe in and to serve what you serve, how you serve. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard from Dr. Marcus Nicolas. He is an incumbent. He wants to be re-elected to the Leon County School Board District 5, and let's do it for him. Let's put him back in that seat. He got a lot to continue. He has a lot of work, and some of these things right here, man, that is awesome.
Thank you, Dr.
So, Dr. Marcus, thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate you, and may the Lord bless you real good.
Thank you, Dr. Judy.
And keep serving.
Yes,
keep serving. And to you all, y'all can join me tonight at 7 o'clock for PowerPoint for Elder Antonio Witherspoon. And also 7:30, our chairman Deacon is teaching Bible study. That man is good. He and Elder Witherspoon, so y'all can join it. Then join me Sunday morning for a powerful Sunday school. That's with Dr. Therese. And then my husband will be giving us the 11 a.m. message. Listen, I'm going to put on my page and on all those pages, Real Talk with Judy, all of the voting timeline, because it is time now. And if you don't vote, y'all, you're giving other people the right to make decisions for you. And so even if your candidate don't win, at least you voted, okay? But vote, please, go out and vote. It is important. It is more than just voting for the president of the United States. Vote for your local government. Vote for your local school board, okay? And let them fight us on up there, but we let them fight for us locally so we can get things done here.
Yes.
All right, so I see you at the poll early or August 18th. That's Real Talk.
Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.